Hey Gopher fans, it's Mike Grimm, voice of the Golden Gophers, and it's my pleasure to introduce the new basketball coach at the University of Minnesota, Niko Medved. Welcome back to your school.
Thanks, Mike. I mean, again, everything happens so fast, especially now in today's world. It feels surreal. You know, when I was here before, this was the old Bierman Athletic Complex. So last night when Mark took me in here, it was just wow. I mean, what they've done with this place is amazing, and all around Dinkytown, and kind of getting a feel for it again, and brings back a ton of memories, and just makes me feel even more and more excited about this opportunity.
Yeah, we are sitting in the Gopher locker room at the practice facility. What will it be like for you to walk back into Williams Arena, given you grew up going to games there, you were a student manager there during some of the great times of Gopher basketball history?
It's going to be awesome. I mean, I've spent so much time in that building and have so many great memories, like you said, as growing up as a kid, going to games, as a manager, as a coach, taking some of our teams, you know, there at Furman and Drake into the barn to play. It's going to feel pretty awesome. And so it's a historic place. And I know when you feel in there, you kind of feel like there's some ghosts there, right? Some special ghosts and a lot of history. And again, I think it's one of the most iconic venues in college basketball.
So the last week plus, what has that been like? You've won a Mountain West Conference tournament championship. You've won a game in the NCAA tournament. You're within a second of going to the Sweet 16. And now you're the coach at the University of Minnesota, your alma mater. What has this last 6 to 7 days been like for you?
Well, it's probably going to take me some time to kind of process all of that. It's just been an unbelievable ride. And I mean, put it into perspective, I mean, we're in Seattle, you know, and I knew what was happening with this opportunity here, but we're in Seattle, really feel like we're going to win that game, you know, and go to the Sweet 16. And it just ends obviously in historic or maybe controversial fashion, whatever you want to say. And literally 20 hours later, you know, I'm here, you know, in Minneapolis. And it's kind of the way these things go. And so it's going to take some time to digest it all, but it's just been a special experience at Colorado State. And then to top it off with having this opportunity, I'm really blessed.
Reintroduce us a little bit to your family. I know your family growing up had season tickets, still do, and now your wife and kids, and kind of let us get to know them a little bit.
Yeah, so my wife Erica is my rock. We've been together, gosh, she's been with me in this, you know, forever, and we have two beautiful little girls. Allie is 8, Taylor is 5. You know, whenever you move, it's always sad, but they're excited to see their grandparents now every day. I have 2 brothers who live here in the Twin Cities, and, you know, nieces and nephews, you know, who were just in Seattle with us. So they were just in Seattle, all of them, and now they get to be here today, which is really, really cool. And they're going to be the biggest Gopher fans, and they're going to be front and center at everything we do.
Give me a quick, let's say, first month on the job. What do you want to get done here in the next 30 days? So short-term goal here.
Yeah, I mean, I think obviously with the way things have changed now, you know, the transfer portal just opened. We're in a recruiting period here. So I think it's kind of hitting the ground running, you know, with the current players, figuring out what you want to start to do with the roster, how that's going to take place, your staff. This is a people business, and getting the staff right and your players is everything. So that's going to be the primary focus. Obviously, really trying to engage here. People will hear me talk about the team together thing, but, you know, really trying to continue to do things that we kind of get this community and people rallied around us. It's going to take everybody to do what we want to do here, but right now it's the primary focus is going to be staff and recruiting.
And you have built programs, so now you're here. So we just did a kind of a short-term goal. Long-term goal for you to build a program. One, what has been kind of the pillar of what has made you successful, and how does that get worked in here in Minneapolis?
You know, it kind of goes back to what I just said. I mean, it starts with, I think we got to have the right staff and the right people who are all pulling in the same direction. And I know coaches say that all the time, but it's so true. And same thing with the types of players and people that we have. it's a talent acquisition business. We need talent. We need people who can compete at the championship level of the Big Ten. But we have to do that with the right people. Also want to be here, and see this as a place that they want to be a part of in our program. That's, I think, what's allowed us to be successful everywhere. It's, what spurred us going to the tournament 3 of the last 4 years at Colorado State when we've had draft picks. We'll have another guy who will play in the NBA. But the one thing that's been they're all phenomenal, young men. And so that's going to be a huge part of what we do. And I just think now's the time. I just think now is the time for a renaissance of Gopher basketball. And I'm different, Mike. I've seen it, at its highest point and what it can be like. And I don't see any reason whatsoever why we can and won't be back there. It's going to take work. It's going to take time. We're competing against the best in the country. But people who know me know I'm a really competitive guy, and so I'm excited to challenge ourselves against the best.
You mentioned talent acquisition, and it's changed so much in the last 3 years in terms of recruiting. Name, image, and likeness is now a major factor. So take me through how you have to work all of that together. Portal is open, as you mentioned. You got name, image, and likeness, and you need to assemble a roster now.
Well, I think all this has changed. And obviously, it's like almost managing, a professional sports, cap, so to speak. And I think you look at in pro sports too, the teams that are successful make great decisions on player acquisition. Where do you invest your resources? You got to invest your resources in the right people, and you got to have the resources to invest, to compete at this level. And so I feel really good about everyone understanding what we need to do and where we need to get to be successful. But again, it's going to take resources, and it's going to take us, just as importantly though, investing those resources the right way. So just because you have them doesn't guarantee you success. If you don't have them, it might guarantee you're not successful. But listen, at this level, people have resources. But again, we've got to do it the right way and invest it in the right people.
You look good in maroon and gold.
It feels good to be in maroon and gold. It's surreal. It's kind of a full circle moment that way. It's going to take a few days for it to really sink in. But man, I'm ready to hit the ground running here.
Well, we're glad to have you back on campus.
Thank you. Go Gophers.
There he is, your head coach, Niko Medved.